So, for the progressives, for some on the left, this election represents the culmination of the last 30 years of tax policy. When it comes down to it, there are strong economic entities that are flooding our system with money. And what has happened is that for 40 years, between the 40s and 70s, we had a very progressive tax structure. And that meant that the top tax bracket was paying anywhere from 90% for a couple decades to 70% for about a decade. And now we're at a point where the top tax bracket is paying 35%, or in some cases paying less than 15%, which means that capital holders are paying significantly less than those of the income earners. And Bernie Sanders believes that not much longer can we do this, because at some point, instead of 400 families having 99% of the wealth in this country, it's going to be 10 or 5 or 1. And the whole reason we have a democracy is to get rid of the idea of all the power in a few hands.
She wants to fight for families in our country, and she has spent many months visiting with families in living rooms across the country and talking about what keeps them up at night. And I also support Hillary Clinton because she wants to break down the barriers that prevent individuals from achieving their full potential. And that could be poverty, it could be discrimination, it could be lack of equal pay for equal work. And these are issues. I also support Hillary Clinton for president because I think she is best poised to continue the progressive agenda that has been started by President Obama. She wants to continue to improve and expand the Affordable Health Care Act, and she wants to continue to improve the economy and to continue to grow jobs in our country.
There are 99.99% of gun users who use guns responsibly. The question is, how do you keep those guns out of the hands of people who will misuse them? And sometimes it is posited that you need stronger mental health checks. And that would be, if you have a strong universal healthcare system, you could make sure that people who have health issues don't get guns. But ultimately it comes down to making sure that there are ways that it is not easy to get guns.
It's key to limit the sale of assault weapons and automatic weapons. But I think that it's also important to look at what has worked in other countries. And in Ireland, for example, after a terrible shooting where dozens of kindergartners were shot to death by a gunman, there was just a ban on guns in Ireland. And after that, there was a huge decrease in gun violence. I have a plan to put $20 billion into youth job training, and I also have a plan to make sure that the 600,000 people that are coming out of incarceration every year have job opportunities to go to. And I understand that in Connecticut, there are many people who are in the correction system who need good job opportunities.
So I have a plan, a 5-year plan to invest $1 trillion in infrastructure. This is roads, this is bridges. Secretary Clinton has a $250 billion plan to invest in infrastructure. Even $1 trillion, as determined by various groups, is not even remotely enough. The fact is, I've been fighting for the same thing for the last 30 years, and I go from state to state, and my message does not change depending on who I talk to. My message stays the same. And sure, you can have a leader who is fearless and who is experienced and who is polished, but the question is, can you trust that person?
I can't wait to fight for America's families, to fight for equal pay, to fight for affordable college for everyone. And I look at the other side of the aisle and I see that they are not about diversity. They are not about breaking down barriers. They're about building walls and making other people pay for it.